they have a decent chance to, win a conference championship here in one of these coming years. They've played for it a couple times now, barely losing to App one year and losing a little bit bigger another year. They got a signature win this year going on the road and beating a Big 12 team. I think this could be a decent fit. My question is, and he's an offensive guy, whereas Muschamp was not. Is he enough different? Like if you're South Carolina, are you scared? Like, is he too Saban-y? And I mean that in a negative way, but it also could be a positive. But like, you just had Muschamp. Do you worry that he's like too much off that same tree? Does that bother you if you're a Gamecock AD?
No, I think Billy Napier is. I cringe and I hesitate to say home run because who the hell knows? But I think he would be a great hire because of a lot of things you're saying. First of all, he's put together really effective and successful offenses at Louisiana and at Arizona State. He built those offenses like over the course of his career, like in his mind's eye. He's failed once already at Clemson. He's learned from that. He is a Nick Saban guy, but he is not a Nick Saban personality. Like, he has all the Nick Saban tricks that he has accumulated working under Nick Saban. And yet, like, when you talk to people that have played for him, coached with him, he's like Nick Saban with like the Dabo Sweeney. Nick Saban from a, recruiting and attention to detail and organization and a lot of that stuff. But he's Dabo Sweeney from like a quality of life, from a style of coaching, from a love them up sort of perspective. Like, so in a way, I think Billy Napier is this like a more modern coach with all of the old school, all the positives of like an old school coach still ingrained in him. And he played at Furman. He knows the area. He's coached at Clemson, obviously. And I do think it's not a small deal that like he's got like I don't know of another coach that has coached significantly under Nick Saban and Dabo Sweeney.
No.
This is a guy that can evaluate, he can recruit, he can coach. And he can and he can develop and he can hire like he's hired a great staff at Louisiana. So much so that it's gotten poached a time or two in the last couple of years. Like, I know that's the name that is like, it's not the sexiest name for a casual college football fan, but I think if you followed what he's done closely over the last like 4 years since he left Alabama, he would be a really strong hire, I think.
So last year he declined to pursue opportunities at Mississippi State and Arkansas. Did he also decline Baylor, or was Baylor the one he wanted and didn't get?
I think he wanted Baylor, and they went Aranda. But I think he turned down Mississippi State, or at least shunned their advances.
And apparently Arkansas as well, according to the Big Spur site, bigspur.com, which is our South Carolina 24/7 site. Be sure to check those guys out. They do really good work. So let me ask you this. Why would Napier take South Carolina if he wouldn't want to take Arkansas? Is it just the division?
Because it's in the SEC East for one, and he's been in Alabama,
right? Like,
he knows what he's up against there. Like, I remember having a interview with him for social distance, and I asked him about the Group of 5 playoffs. Like, hey, like, do you think that y'all should be in the playoffs? And he was like, man, I've played in those playoffs. Like, I've been in those games. I know what that's like. Probably not. Like, I think there should be a Group of 5 playoff or Group of 5 championship or something like that. So I think that I took that to mean like he understands the monster that is. The monster, like the mountain you're climbing in the SEC West. I think he would view it as the East being a more like goals being more achievable. A, and B, he played football at Furman. He coached at Clemson. Like, he knows that area. He is comfortable there. Like, that's home. And so I think it would just be I think it would fit better than say going to like a Mississippi State or an Arkansas, both of which I think are programs that he would probably view as just more difficult to win.
And you know, he'd probably be right, to be honest. Like, I think you're favored in probably one more conference game per year if you take South Carolina as opposed to Mississippi State or Arkansas. And I mean, look, the difference between going 3-5 and 4-4 in the eyes of fans is pretty damn big. If for some reason Napier didn't get the job, and I think a lot of people seem to believe he's the favorite for the gig, and I don't disagree with you that from the South Carolina perspective, that's probably a home run. You know, if you're Napier, I do think you're probably looking a little worried, like, man, is this it? Like, if I take this job, could this be my last coaching stop, you know, given what's happened to everybody's coached there? But to your point, some of those guys have been older. You know, it may not be the dead-end job that it looks like from the outside. But if they can get him, there's no doubt